Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It is the uncensored match build-up. It's Liverpool versus Bournemouth. Yes, the Premier League is back. Friday night, Anfield, 8 p.m. We're all looking forward to it, to chat all about the Bournemouth game, the Reds and the Bournemouth team news, all that kind of stuff. I've got Abby and Sam, two absolute Redmen stalwarts with me. Couldn't think of a better duo to start the season in terms of the Premier League. Sorry to all our other contributors. No offence.
Old school.
You'd have been great as well. I'm sure it would have been absolutely fantastic. But yeah, we're going to be speaking about Bournemouth. They've had a very transitional summer. They've lost some key players. They've brought guys in. They've got some pretty bad injuries as well. Or even though Arne Slot was very complimentary about them at the press conference, rather ahead of tonight's game. Second half of the show, we're going to look at Liverpool team news. Arne Slot, is he going to do anything different from what he did at the weekend and all that good stuff? Before we get into all that, just a shout out to oosh.co.uk, our sponsors for every single show this season. They are giving away a brand new Audi RS6 tomorrow night, Friday night, 10 p.m, and you could win it. It's completely free to enter, so I'm going to hand over to Paul with all that information. After which, let's chat about the game.
How would you like to win an Audi RS6 for free? Well, our friends at oosh.co.uk are giving away this very one for nothing. All you've got to do is head to oosh.co.uk, grab yourself a ticket, and you are in the draw. Oosh!
Yeah, there you go. If you want to be in that draw to win the car, or indeed £50,000 in cash, I'll take the car. Then do click the link in the description, whether you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening to this as a podcast. We'll make sure the link is there for both shows. And yeah, it's completely free. It won't cost you a penny. In fact, if you enter, you get another free entry. So yeah, why not go and have a go? And then hopefully watch the Reds win 3 points tomorrow night. And then straight away tune in to the guys at oosh.co.uk and maybe win yourself a car. I've been speaking to the guys from Oosh, and they've been saying like the Redmen support for the competition has been pretty good. So get yourselves involved if you want to be one of the winners. There's a very good chance it'll be a Redmen viewer who wins it, given the proportion of the entries so far, which would be awesome. I hope it's you. I hope it's exactly you, not you, but I hope if it is you, Sam. I hope it's someone. I don't think it can be you. I'm not sure what the rules are, because you're kind of. No, you're not married to Joe, are you? Maybe you might be fine.
Well,
and
yeah.
Put it one way.
Cohabitating with a member of staff.
However, it's a $120,000 car. It might be worth fucking Joe off for. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, Joe.
Did you hear that, Joe? I'll be off.
If my voice starts squeaking on these... if my voice starts squeaking on this microphone, it's Joe messing around with the buttons. And anyway, I digress. Do get involved, though. Right, let's talk about the game. I'm going to start by talking about Bournemouth, Sam. They've had quite the summer in terms of outgoings. Basically, 3 of their back 5 last year have all gone. Obviously, Kepa was only on loan. Kepa was only on loan, so he's gone to Arsenal. They've lost Zabarani, whose name I always struggle with, Dean Huijsen, and of course Milos Kerkez to Liverpool. They signed Bafo Diakati yesterday. Like, literally, so he's going to play. That's some turnaround.
They're not even sure, are they?
They're not even sure if he can play, which is, he's their record sign, £31 million. He's come in. They've got Petrovic in goal, again, formerly of Chelsea. And Bournemouth have got a fetish for ex-Chelsea goalkeepers. They bought Truffert at left back. He was the one who allowed us to sign Milos Kerkez. So, yeah, if you're Bournemouth, again, that's a big change around there. 3 of your back 5. It's a bit similar to Liverpool-ish, but not as bad, because Liverpool are only going to have 2, I think, tomorrow. Losing your goalie, your 2 centre-halves, your left-back, one of your best players, and then we'll add on to the injuries in a moment. It's been a pretty difficult summer in terms of the outgoing so far for them.
Yeah, it feels like almost the end of the road for this Bournemouth team, and I'm sure they'll come back and do well moving forward, but every sort of team like that, it felt like it with Brighton, although they rebuilt last year. It felt like with Southampton all those years ago, and there's been numerous other teams in the Premier League that have had really strong squads, and then because they're that good and they perform that well in the league, they get pulled apart by the other contenders. And that's what's happened this year with Bournemouth. And to add to that, this is probably their nightmare start. You're going away to the champions, first game back, first time we get to wear the gold badge in our new kit at Anfield. Obviously, given the emotions of the summer, what's happened, it's going to be a big event. So from them, on and off the pitch, it's obviously probably the last place they want to be, if they're being honest. I think it'd be interesting to see how they do line up and who does play, especially if Diakate can't. And see what they look like as well, because the makeup of the players are totally different. Huijsen and is it Zabarano, whatever his name is, they were strong, quick, Premier League ready players. I'm not sure who else is going to play centre back. Is Cook fit?
No. I was going to say, he's took a bad one. He done his knee in America recently, and he might be out for a while.
I'm not sure who plays centre back, and then as if Diakate is even allowed to play. I'm not sure registration, international clearance, and all that stuff. Left back's obviously a brand new player, because even though they signed this player last year, didn't they? They signed someone a while ago, which started the rumours for Kerkez. You just don't know what it's going to look like, and so when you've got what Liverpool are going to throw at them, it's quite a difficult experience to start off with. So, yeah, tough times for them at the minute.
I think it'd be Senesi, who was in and out the team yet. He was a starter for them a while ago. He got shifted around to fullback. Sometimes he can probably play centre back.
Okay.
Chris Mepham, James Hill, Akin Nombin. He's like teenage lads, according to. I'm just looking at the names here. I'm not too familiar with some of them, but
I've seen
Senesi. We'll have seen the interesting one, Abs, as well. It isn't just the players that they've lost transfer wise, injury wise. Lewis Cook did his knee recently in pre-season. Sinisterra, he is probably a doubt according to the guys at Premier Injuries. He's not going to play. Ryan Christie with a hip injury, likely not to play. Justin Kluivert with a calf issue, unlikely to play according to this as well. Oatra is being heavily linked with the move to Brentford. It's almost like the conversion line of Visa goes, he backfill. So there's talk about him as well. It's Arne Slot was very complimentary. Bournemouth at the press conference called them, one of the most intense sides Liverpool played against. But there's a chance Liverpool face a Bournemouth side here with about 7 different faces in than the one that they faced last year.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess that to start the season off with, and especially without Kluivert. He's just one of those players that I'm just absolutely terrified to come up against. If you were going to say if anyone could sort of keep them in that game, you'd think it'd be him. So if you're a Bournemouth fan, you're going to be a bit terrified, aren't you, to be going into that. But, we've been there before where we've had injuries and players moving on and there's transitional seasons, but it's not the same as if you're in the big six and you lose those players. It's a completely different rebuild. If you lose, like Kerkez goes to Liverpool, you know what I mean? When you lose those players, you're just sort of feeling unstable and stuff like that. But we know we can go and sign someone who's going to be just as good most of the time. Do you know what I mean? And they haven't sort of got that. So it's probably guessing games for them as who they're going to start and how well they're going to perform, but there's an unsteadiness about them. It's probably great for us for the first game of the season to see them in a little bit of a mess. Slot's going to be complimentary of them, isn't he? They've had a good season, but when all the best players are leaving and then you're getting all those injuries, there's just it's hard to recover from that. You have to do that as you go. You've got to recover as you play, so it's just one of those things to start off like this. It does feel like it's come around a lot quicker for a lot of teams than they're ready for. Even for us, to be honest, it feels as though it's here already and we've still got players that need to bed in and things like that. So you never know. We are in our own transitional season, but when it comes to Bournemouth, it feels unsettled and uncomfortable, doesn't it? I can't see them feeling confident at all.
No, you're right, and it's worth mentioning. Sound like say these injuries. I mean, at time recording, Iraola hasn't done his latest press conference, but these were like he last spoke on like August 9th, and he was talking about the players. He mentioned Ryan Christie might be back in training now. I just think if you're them, and listen, I might be completely wrong here, and they might not see it this way. It's almost like, why take the risk on the first game of the season? If he doesn't play today, he then gets another 8 days off because he don't play till next Saturday where they're at home to Wolves. It might just be an idea where I wouldn't be taking risk. You could play your best team and lose at Liverpool. They've done that twice last year, It might be worth, you would probably err on the side of caution at the start of the season where, like especially someone with like Kluivert with a calf, like it feels like a big risk to take. You'd like to think if you're proactive, you might just think, let's leave that one. We'll give them an extra 7-8 days. And then that Bournemouth versus Wolves at home is a game we should be targeting to win anyway.
Yeah, and they might have a few in the door by then, a few bit more clarity in the squad. I think, if it wasn't pre-season, because effectively that's what we've just finished, haven't we? And for them, you could say it's an extension of pre-season with the new lads coming in. If it was November and it was like, we've had 2 months of football, some international games, and then Kluivert gets injured, for instance, you might go, we'll push him because he's been fit. But they're not match ready. And if you've missed, like we've had with our players, we've got plenty who've missed parts of pre-season, you're not going to risk them because you don't need to, because you've got your back that you've got more than enough for us to deal with it. For them, it's making sure they're back and that they're not going to get further injuries. If Kluivert and Christie play and just pull up or just have a little bit of an issue, it's going to have a bigger knock-on effect for them because they could lose at Liverpool anyway and play really well and have the whole squad fit and everyone's at it. You could still lose the game. So you've got to sort of pick your battles. Same notions, first game of the season. you want to get off to a good start. So it's difficult for the managers because everybody's up. I watched the year with one of the overlap shots today, or part of it, and everyone was optimistic, and he made that clear. And it was like, you know, that's where everyone is at this stage. We're all on naught, aren't we? So yeah, it's a tricky one, but I'm with you. Right? If I was them, I'd be cautious rather than over optimistic.
What I would say, I was, and Slot again, Liverpool played them a few times last year, and Slot was rightly. He said, like, you know, we beat them 3-0, and I was a bit like, I was quite surprised it was 3-0 because they had some big chances. They scored the goal that was narrowly offside in that game. They probably are still going to have, if Owatara plays, which again, that depends on transfers and where he's at and where his head's at and his agent's advice, whatever, but Semenyo, Tavernier, Owatara, Evan Nielsen, they're still good players, and they're still going to do the Iriola thing of press, hurry, harry, knock the ball around. You know, injuries really decimated Bournemouth last year, but they still managed to put up a big fight. Their style of play against what is admittedly a Liverpool side who are still, again, and the manager said this, like going through a little bit of adaptation. He said he's not worried about it, but it is there. Everyone's learning their new roles and what to do and where you can lose the ball and where you can't. There's still enough players there that can hurt you on. You know what I mean? There's Semenyo in particular that always plays well against us. The others there, if you're going to give the ball away stupidly or you're not going to be at it, I think Arne Slot again said, we're like an 8 out of 10 at the moment at the back and we need to be 10. They have got players who can punish that. Like Bournemouth, again, injuries aside and transfers aside, they're not an amazing team stylistically to play when you're not exactly rock solid or confident like, at the back.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say we were an 8 out of 10 at the back. We were less than that for me, to be honest. If there's a concern, it's going to be defensively. And, you know, I'm sure all of us hoping we can get Gay through the door to start to not sort of boot Canate out or anything like that, but just try and feel more solid and know that if we're one injury away from it all just falling apart. But yeah, Bournemouth, when they've got that sort of attack and strength, you don't want to be coming up against them when the defence isn't completely solid. And, you know, Virgil's coming off the back of having an illness, you know, bad performance. I mean, we weren't absolutely terrible in that Community Shield, but, you know, we weren't great at the back. So there needs to be something there. You know, Bradley's obviously picking up injuries all the time. Frimpong's not that defensive, let's be fully honest. Who just start? Robertson, Kirkes, you know, there's that whole thing there. So there's a lot of question marks around the defence to be coming up against these players that may make me feel a little bit unsteady. From what you've just said there, Stig, you've convinced me a little bit more to be a little bit more worried than I was, to be honest.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
Yeah, now I'm a little bit more like, oh yeah, you have got a point. We are a little bit unsteady at the back, but if anything, for me, we've been a 5 out of 10 at the back, and there are mistakes there, and we can make mistakes, and we've seen it, and I don't want to start off on a bad foot. So yeah, maybe they're not the perfect side to come up against, but you know, if you want anyone to be unstable, injuries, players sold, it's probably not our worst fear.
It feels to me, and then sometimes playing a team early can be difficult. Like I felt last year, the worst time to play Ipswich away was probably first game of the season. They proved that they had a good hour in them, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then like later on, teams went there. Arsenal went there that day when we could have won the league. I scored in a minute. And by then, but Ipswich had gone. Yeah. It feels now, Sam, again, it's never going to be easy to play Bournemouth, but this might be a better time just because of the injuries and stuff. And like I say, the change where they might, like you said, they might settle in a couple of weeks. They might have everyone back. They'll have a few more through the door. They've clearly got a very good coach and a very good, you know, and he knows what he's doing to set them up. Hopefully, for Liverpool's point of view, this might not be the worst time to play them. You said it's a horrendous time for them to come to us. On the flip side, Liverpool might go, you know what? When the fixtures were announced, home draw against a decent side, okay, you'll kind of take it. It feels, and I don't want to tempt fate, and I'm not doing that, but it feels like easier in the fact that it isn't the same team and added to the injuries as well.
Oh, no, absolutely. And they haven't had... The one thing about the curtain raiser, the Charity Shield, the Community, whatever you want to call it, however you want to take it, whether you're really serious about it, which Palace clearly were, which we were serious enough about it, but not enough to leave players on the pitch for 90 minutes. We've had that game. So we've had our first game of the season, and I think that definitely helps going into the season now with a game under our belt where for at least an hour we were taking it seriously. But you know, it was like it's that bridge between pre-season and the Premier League. No other team has had that. There's nothing Spurs apart from me last night, but no other team have had the ability to have that competitive game. 80,000 people, you know, a proper roar when a goal goes in. You know, VAR checks, all the stuff that comes into the season. They haven't had that. We have. So I don't know, it was only last Sunday and it's Friday, so there's less recovery time, but that should put us in good step to be much sharper than they are. Like I said, they've had issues. They've been to America. They've lost games. What, didn't they lose to West Ham? They lost to Man United. But they
drew with Sociedad's 0-0, which didn't again.
Yeah, so they got Semenyo, they got Evan Nilsson, like you said. The other lads, whether they were going to play or not, we'll find out. But I just feel that we should be sharper because of that, and that's going to help us. And we all want to win that 50p. We all want to win it. Let's be honest. Whether it means anything or not, but. We had that experience and we've now got that gear up on them, and we've got to use that. And I think the first hour of the game is really important.
I mentioned Semenyo before, so I'm going to stick with you on this one, and because I've terrified Derby with him, so I'm not going to
leave it alone.
Yeah, he'll play on the left. He always does play on the left. He's had some success against us in the past. His pace has caused issues. In theory, with Jeremy Frimpong, that might be not an advantage. Liverpool might be something that negates it a little bit, because it was often Semenyo cutting inside those runs, and Trent just couldn't keep up with him. He just wasn't as fast as him really, and things like that. We'll find out how Frimpong does over the course of the season, but in terms of pure pace, you're not going to get a quicker right back. Again, that might be something. I like Semenyo. I think he's good. I'm surprised actually there hasn't been more interest in him, because they have lost a lot of players, but Frimpong has got the physical capabilities at least to nullify what his main threat is, which is like his athleticism, his pace.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have to tackle him neither. He just has to be with him. Like, look at Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker's arguably the best right back the Premier League has seen in terms of what he's won, his achievements, and that. He was never a good defender ever. He was just really quick and was able to stay with players, and then whatever happens after that happens. But Trent couldn't stay with these lads. He wasn't quick enough, and it's not his fault, and he got stick for it sometimes, but he just couldn't keep, his legs wouldn't move that fast. Whereas Frimpong will be able to stay with Semenyo. And again, having last week, will have him a bit sharper and hopefully more ready for it. So I'm quite confident, with that. Look, he's going to be tricky. He's going to get success. He's going to get 1v1 with him and with Konate. But I do think in this particular matchup, defensively, we should be in a strong place to at least be able to cope with him and then double up with him and stuff like that. Whereas, let's be honest, he's left us for dead into times, hasn't he, in those games. So I'm quite calm about that situation, both sides, to be honest.
Yeah, and we got a message here from Quad Boy that he says, first game of the season is always the best chance. You've got to underestimate your opposition, so we need to be solid and very wary of their counter-attack. And that is the thing with, I don't think Liverpool will underestimate these, Abby. I just don't think they will, because in the last couple of years, it's been more often not Liverpool play the newly promoted team, and you haven't really known what you're going to get. Liverpool will know exactly what they're going to get from Bournemouth, different players, but they shouldn't. There's not, and that'll be a massive surprise to them, you would think.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know what Arne Slot's like as a manager? He's this, like we've all said, he's this perfectionist, and you can just know he's sat there rewatching all those Bournemouth games from last season. He's watched the games that we played against them where they played well, and he's probably sat there and thought that's not happening again. Like, when I watched that documentary that the club have just brought out, all the players were saying like, oh, Slot came in and he was just like, this is what you did wrong to lose the league last season, this is what you need to do right. And he's analysed the season, he even won the league, and he's gone, right, that's not happening, and we're going to make it perfect. So yeah, don't underestimate your opposition, but don't underestimate Arne Slot, because to me he just feels like one of those characters that he wouldn't lose that first game of the season, touch wood. It just feels like he will put absolutely everything into it. I know there's going to be one eye on transfers, and the whole Isak saga is going to be they're going to try and play it out in the media as if it's like this big distraction of, is it going to happen? We had the whole thing with the contracts, and we're going to have that again with the Konate thing, but these things don't seem to phase Arne Slot whatsoever. So we're not underestimating the opposition, but I'm not underestimating our own side either. Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. I think Liverpool will know all they need to know about Bournemouth and their players. There's no massive surprise. The defender he plays might be something that they've not seen before, but other than that, there aren't too
If anything, that's a weakness for them now.
I was going to say I just think gelling a new back. I think Liverpool have seen signs of this. I think there's times where the position of the full backs, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but trying to gel a whole new back four, and then the fella in front of him who sits there and protects them, he's now out as well. That is difficult. So hopefully Liverpool can take advantage of that with their attacking talent. Speaking of which, we will be talking about Liverpool's team news, any changes we will make to the starting 11 that face Crystal Palace. We'll be doing that after the break. But first, here's a bit of information how you could win an amazing piece of signed Liverpool memorabilia. See you in a sec. Hey everyone, how would you like to win this? Hold it up for them, Errol. This is a Liverpool shirt signed by two icons of the football club, Steve McMahon and Ronnie Whelan. Medals and trophies galore. At the end of August, we'll be giving that shirt away to one of our Redmen Plus Legend subscribers. If you want to be in the draw to win that, and every single month we do these sign competitions as well, head on over to redmenplus.com, become a legend subscriber, you'll be in the draw. If you are one of our captain subscribers, simply upgrade your account, become a legend, and at the end of August, Errol, someone will be winning what is an absolute beauty, isn't it?
Yeah, we love this.
redmenplus.com, become a legend. Welcome back. Yes, let's talk about Liverpool then. Injury update from the manager today. Some pretty good news, actually. He says Alexis McAllister is fit and available for selection. Same about Joe Gomez as well, although he hasn't played too much. So the manager's decision on him is whether or not he wants him on his bench. I would suggest he probably should, but he's not ready to play. But it appears like Alexis, if they deem him they want to, Sam, he looks like he's ready to at least start. Whether he can do the full game, I don't know. Obviously, we know Ryan Gravenberch is suspended. He got sent off against the Palace. Slot brought that up as well, by the way. Again, we got to play a book for diving, even though we never dived. Not that he's angry.
That was mad. Not
that he's angry 6 months later or whatever, he apparently is a few months later. But the McAllister one, we'll talk about the midfield in a moment, but that's a massive boost for Liverpool. Just to have the option of him, he didn't have any other options the weekend. He clearly wasn't ready. An extra week of training into his legs, he is available if he won. That's huge.
Oh, massive, yeah. And he's clearly shown his versatility last weekend. Football, basketball, all in one game.
Loves his volleyball, yeah.
But no, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was bizarre when you know, like when they were away on tour and he wasn't playing, you're thinking, geez, I didn't realise he was that injured or needed that much of rest. So it's good to see him fully sort of reintegrated into the squad. He's a quality footballer. And look, I don't know whether he's sharp enough to start. He'll have had obviously a day off and some training this week. He did look a bit, he showed a bit of the good McAllister with some tackles and stuff he did last week, but then he looked a bit off it still, I thought, in the Palace game, just my opinion. But I think he's one of those players, he's now vice captain, that if he's ready to start the game, the manager might just say, I'm putting you in, because he's got that experience. He's been one of the key members of the midfield last year that won the league. He's won all kinds with Argentina. He's what you need in these games, isn't he? Especially when you're missing Gravenberch. So I'd be quite surprised now if he didn't start. However, he's not as sharp as Curtis and Dom, so it's a tough one to call.
Yeah, we'll get there in a moment. In terms of trying to pick the goalie's going to play, we're not that happy. The back four picked itself, I think. The only question would be Milos Kerkers, I think no one mentioned him today because he did go off in that game, but apparently he must be fine. The only decision the manager will make is, does he go with Kerkers again, or does he want Robertson for a bit more stability? To sign a player for £40 million, not play him on his home debut against his old team, that feels... my guess would be it would be Kerkers, but there is a case to be made for Andy Robertson.
I know, there's just a part of me that still thinks he picks Robertson, and he just sort of goes tried and trusted. And I understand Robertson did have a difficult season last year, but towards the back end of it, he was all right, you know what I mean? And I feel like you still want to keep these players happy to go in first game of the season, throw Kerkers in against his old team. I know, like you're saying, we've spent a lot of money on him and stuff like that, and he probably is the better choice, to be honest, but there's just something in me that just thinks Slot will be... Maybe I've still got that Jurgen Klopp loyalty in the back of my mind to think that Robertson will still get that chance. But
Slot is not that.
No, I know. If you're going to pick the best player, it's going to be Kerkers, isn't it? But I can't see it being Bournemouth having any sort of issue for Kerkers, so...
I think it would be Kerkers.
Yeah.
If he's fit, again, we presume he is. Just because... He started last week. Why would he have started on Sunday if he's not going to start?
And Bilbao.
He's played in all the senior games, and there's 10 days off after it. I think Robbo's going to find himself.
I think I love Robbo. He epitomises us. But I think we played down how bad this season was because we love him.
Towards the back end of it, though,
it got better, but
I think his good games were like when Fabinho was having good games. It was like, he was all right there. Well, in Robbo, you're back. But actually, we're used to Robbo being unreal. And I just think that the gulf between them two is quite big. That's just my opinion. I think Slot will just go with Kerkers.
Van Dijk, Kanate, Frimpong, it has to be the back for no one else.
Is Bradley
how
bad is his injury?
He's apparently just not available. So he's not miles away, but not ready for this one.
If Bradley was fit, I'd have been making a different decision, I think.
Would you?
Yeah.
I think probably would have as well, but he isn't, so he's not.
Yeah.
So midfield is the interesting one then. So Verts is going to play.
Yeah, we know that.
I think Szoboszlai's going to play.
Do you?
I'd be shocked if he never. Given the running and the intensity of these, I think the manager's got a decision to make between Jones and McAllister, and you could put Wataru Endo in there if you want. I personally, that's what I would do if McAllister wasn't ready, but I don't think that the manager's in that one. So I'll be... I thought Jones was fine. He got a lot of stick last week, actually. I thought he wasn't he was the least of Liverpool's problems. Liverpool had bigger issues than Curtis. But he isn't as good defensively, and I'd say Alexis is probably better in that role. So it'll be interesting to see what the manager does there. My guess is if someone comes to him and says Alexis McAllister can play an hour, my guess is he'll just pick Alexis McAllister for an hour.
Yeah, I don't think you're taking any massive risks on McAllister though. I don't think we're going to just. I can't see McAllister starting. I don't think he does. The back of my brain is telling me Endo. Like there's something in me that's just saying maybe we just go really
honestly, that's what I would do that.
Really aggressive. You know, just that person that'll just absolutely nail anyone and fight for the ball all the time. There's something in me that's just saying he'll go for Endo, and I don't know why. I don't think it's worth taking the risk on McAllister. And no, I don't think the Jones hate was possibly worth it. I don't think he was that bad, but he's nowhere near the level of McAllister. But if you're tossing up between him and Endo, I think Endo's just that.
It's worth mentioning, by the way, McAllister wasn't great when he came on.
No, I thought he was.
I think Liverpool got worse.
No, he wasn't. But he's still Alexis McAllister at the end of the day, and you know that it'll only take a couple of minutes for him to pick that back up and start to play well again. Maybe I think McAllister will probably come on, but I don't know. There's just something in me that's saying it'll be Endo.
I would choose Endo if it wasn't McAllister. If it's not McAllister, the manager will pick Curtis.
I think he will.
Either just picked Endo last week.
Because before the Tottenham game, he didn't start Endo one league game all season last year, did he? And for me, that tells its own story. And I think Endo knows where he is and stuff as well. We also might need him at centre back.
Yeah, good point.
So, can we get this lad's medical boxed off in the next 20 minutes, please, lads? We could do with him. Although if Joey's back, maybe we've got a little bit more time. There.
That's it. Is that he's probably thinking, probably might need you to cover a couple of space. Like if we're, I don't look touch wood, but if we're winning the game comfortably, or they have a man sent off and we're winning 2-3-0, he could just go, right, Ibu, off you come, go on Endo, finish the game for me, because obviously you want to rest it with what's going on at the minute. Yeah, I think McAllister. It's all about what the medicals say. If they
says that he's fit, so I presume he's fit.
I think he likely start if he's able, if he's told he can play and he's trained well in that. But I think it's Curtis, if not him. But I thought he was doing all right. Curtis, what was it, 100%? I saw him lose the ball when he dribbled with it, but geez, everyone loses the ball. We had tossed the ball enough times. I feel like the internet doesn't allow Curtis to lose the ball, but everybody else is okay.
He's under a microscope now, isn't he?
So
Since Trent left, there's this whole thing about like the Scouse player and he's got to do well. And I just feel like there's this thing around him now where he's just hyper criticised. Whereas you think it'd be the other way, where people would be more lenient with him, but there's just something about him where he just gets like hyper criticised, and every performance he does is just overly analysed.
I think as well, everyone's like, yeah, well, he's not, he didn't do a great job. He isn't a DM. He literally, he was like, he's not a DM. He just got put in there because
he's a good footballer.
One was injured, one missus was having a baby, and then he got picked. It wasn't his fault he got picked there, but he's not. Defensively, I don't think he's amazing, and I think he would. But I thought he was the least. I thought McAllister when he came on was bad. I don't think so. I mean, talk about giving the ball with that pass to Bosley played was one of the worst.
Oh
passes.
My god! Yeah.
Any Liverpool player will play this season. I think Arne Slot will get red in the riot attack. So I think it'll be definitely Vert Szoboszlai, we all agree, and then it'll be one of
Szoboszlai's fought his way into that team for me.
He was poor last week though, I thought.
Well, he was. I think
for the majority of pre-season though, he's looked a bright spark, to be fair. And he was like, when we signed Vert, he was the first player where I've thought, there's Szoboszlai's sort of place has gone there, and he was probably the worst of that main midfield last season. And then this pre-season, I know you said he struggled last time, but there's something about this pre-season for him where he's not giving up, is he?
All of our best players struggled last game. The best three players probably all who played well. The goalie, Frimpong, Ekatike, that was bad. Everyone else was a bit undercut.
Do you know what is with Sobo and Kate? So I think, like I was talking to a friend of mine about this on Monday at the cricket club, believe it or not, where we talk about more football than cricket.
I was going to say that tends to happen, yeah.
And I was saying, that like, I feel like Gravenberch is a much better midfielder than probably both of those if you went up. But as footballers all around the pitch, you wouldn't really want Grav to play anywhere else. Maybe a bit of centre-back. But Curtis and Dom could probably play left-back, right wing, left wing, and do a job. They're just versatile, complete footballers in that sense. So they'll go in and do a 6-7 out of 10 there, but then in their own best position, they might play a 7 or 8 out of 10, whereas Grav and Maka, you're going to get 9 out of 10 in their position, but 2 out of 10 everybody else.
Vert is an interesting one. I was like, again, it feels like Friday Night Lights on the Anfield. Everyone, like, no one really watches this Community Shield apart from the teams in it. Like, I don't think I've ever sat and watched a Community Shield game where we weren't involved. And I might have just had a look at the score. the whole of England will be watching Friday Night Football, Premier Leagues, tuning in. It feels like it's a real opportunity for like the Florian Wirtz announce yourself type of game. He's clearly shown glimpses in pre-season. He's been pretty good. There's definitely more to come, and as he gets used to kind of things. But if Bournemouth are a little bit uneven at the back, a little bit out of sync themselves, he's the perfect man to exploit that. He could have a really good game, and you fancy that he's the type of character who'd be willing and wanting to do that on his Premier League debut.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be in Anfield and see him play a proper competitive game for Liverpool, especially under the lights. It's going to be absolutely amazing, and it's a big opportunity for him because, you know, everyone was talking about his price tag and is he worth it, and he's so young, and, you know, Man City didn't want to pay that price for him. This is an opportunity for him to be like, I'm worth every penny that's been paid for me. I'm going to start as I mean to go on, and, you know, the internet takes no prisoners, does it? So if he does have one bad performance, it is just going to be completely clipped up, and it will be exposed all over YouTube and stuff like that. So I think it's that game where he's going to be hyper focused, and I don't want it to end up another situation that we had with Darwin, where it was just like he was really sensitive and like one bad game, and it just, you know, all those things that happened. We all know the story, but he's not really coming across as that. He's just sort of come in his stride. He doesn't look like it's taking any pressure. He hasn't looked like this absolutely amazing player who's worth every penny, but he's not going to. He's literally only just got here. He's still trying to like work his way in this on a slot team. This is his first real, I mean, I know the Community Shield is competitive in a sense, but it doesn't feel like that to me. This is a proper Premier League game, and he needs to start as he means to go on, but he's an absolutely quality player, so I can't see why he couldn't. And like you said, any little crack in Bournemouth, you can feel as though he's going to be able to expose that and just exploit it.
Feels like the type of character who's going to love it. Absolutely, he's going to be definitely willing to put on a show. In front of him, it's going to be, I'm guessing, Gakpo, Salah, Ekitike. There aren't really too many other options, to be honest with you.
I'm excited for Ekitike. He looked sharp.
So good last week.
He's so good.
Ian Young put it perfectly the other day, Sam, when we've done the final week. It's like he's almost the forgotten £70 million signing.
Yeah.
In most summers, if you sign a player, a centre forward for like 70 million quid, he's like the marquee player. But given that Liverpool have signed Florian Wirtz, given all they've done, and then the Isak stuff rumbling on, he has almost been a little bit like underplayed. But as starts go, he had a really, really promising one on Sunday. And again, up against a Bournemouth side who, with a new goalkeeper, new back four, no real... again, cooking on in front. They'll have Adams there, who is a very good protector, but maybe something he can exploit. He should be licking his lips, going, you know, this isn't the Bournemouth who had, you know, a really good defence. If your players go to Liverpool, Real Madrid, PSG, there's some players, you know, and they've all gone. He should be thinking, you know what, I can get at these. I could be scoring goals on my Anfield debut here.
Absolutely, and the goalie's nothing to sort of sing and shout about either. Let's be honest, he couldn't get in Chelsea's first 2 goalies. Yeah, I think that both of those players look like they don't care about the noise. Maybe Darwin was a bit different, whatever, but Wirtz just come. I just think
he's
he
just
looks
dancing with Frimpong in videos.
Yeah, but for me, Wirtz just looks like he's here to have fun. He knows he's joined a world-class team, and I just think he's here to have fun and create loads of opportunities. I thought he had fun last week, should have scored. TK could have had 2 or 3. I think these 2 players are just going to be just out there enjoying themselves, playing football, looking around the crowd. Wow, 60-odd thousand people here, you know. I think it'll be a real exciting moment for them. And I fully expect both of them to take it on. And, you know, we forget our main man talking about these 2, don't we? Which is crazy. Or main men, because Gakpo was a top player as well.
I was going to say, Salah was dreadful last week. It's fair to say. His record, we all know his record on opening day Premier League games is absurd. He already holds that record. There's every chance he adds to it on Friday. Like, that's just what he does. Again, it's always a man who the spotlight and when everyone's watching. It's no surprise Salah, first game of the season, pretty much all but one time, I think, scores goals. Like he is a phenomenon. He always starts seasons well. That's been his thing. If anything, he's tailed off a little bit after Christmas and stuff, but it feels like, again, another major opportunity, because he was poor, and you know he's poor, and if you get a penalty, I hope he just kicks in the goal rather than over the bar. But yet again, I'm very excited with Wirtz, Salah, Gakpo, Ekitike, Frimpong, Szoboszlai. There's enough there. If Liverpool do have a couple of defensive issues which aren't quite ironed out, there's more than enough firepower to make up for that.
There's something in Mo Salah that no matter what happens in pre-season, the moment the whistle gets blown, he's just absolutely on it at the start of the season. Obviously, he has that dip towards the end of the season that we've just had, but you just know that he spends the whole pre-season just absolutely getting his mind in the right place and his body in the right place to be able to go for it. And he's still got records to beat, and you know, he's a proper professional. And there's all those conversations around that he's probably not going to get the Ballon d'Or now, you know, so he's going to have a bit of fight in his belly to want to go and do it again and again. There is something in my mind after that Community Shield game where I'm like, do I not captain him on fantasy footy for the first game of the season for a very long time? Just back him. I've got to back him, haven't I? But I'm really excited to see how he plays, you know, with Frimpong behind him, you know, that sort of thing, that sort of link up, you know. We've lost Trent, that was always that creative outlet, but it just feels as though Arne Slot's gone, right, we're going to replace it in another way. Let's go sign Florian Wirtz, let's go get Frimpong, you know, let's have Ekatike in the middle next to him, you know, so that sort of service that was going to Darwin Núñez and getting wasted, that's not going to happen. Mo's going to be able to get more assists that way. So if I was Mo Salah, I would be so excited right now about these new players around me. And yeah, it probably will take a bit of time to sort of gel to the point where we want it, but if you're Mo Salah, Friday night under the lights, first Premier League game, you've got these new players around you, you're going to be so excited, aren't you? And you know, on the whole Ekatike thing, there is going to be pressure on him when those conversations are happening about Alexander Isak, and I know you don't think that he's got that thing in the back of his mind, but I think that there will be that sort of pressure on him to be like, right, prove why you should be playing those games and shouldn't be maybe pushed off to the left. I mean, I know we love Gakpo, but you know, Diaz was sort of the choice there at the end of the day, and Diaz probably did have better stats when you compared them, even though physically watching it in front of me, I always thought Gakpo had better games. There is just something about it where I just feel as though if we get Isak, Ekatike is going to be pushed over to that left-hand side. So, you know, there's going to be fight in the belly of Ekatike as well. So just to see all these players play together, to be, you know, fighting for the rest of the season, fighting for their place, that it's so exciting. And if you're Mo Salah and you're Virgil van Dijk and players like that have been here for a while, no wonder you signed that new contract when you were promised these sort of players were going to be around you, because they'll make him better as well.
He's yeah, I'm sure he's got a point to prove, Mo. He'll have seen exactly what was getting said to him about him.
You're taking him off pens?
No.
He's got one more chance for me, though.
Really? Yeah. Is that how far?
If he blazes another one wide, I think you've got to.
He's got to be hitting the target.
I would like to be the person who goes and takes the pens off Mo Salah. I get it. I understand it.
I feel like it's in his contract to be like, yeah, I'll still get pens.
But if you, like, someone told me, I was saying something then, someone said, he scored 42 of 50 or something, which is, or some mad number he scored.
His record's good.
But
you've got to look at it now, though.
You've got to look at it now. You've got to look at the last 20 or the last 25, and he's missed like 9. You're like, you know.
I think.
By the way, Machas was crap. He always goes top left. Why didn't he just go top left?
Szoboszlai's probably the best of them.
He's the one. Yeah.
I think he will have been practicing all week. If I know Mo, like, I don't know Mo Salah personally,
but you know,
in terms of
from what
we know of Mo Salah, like, he's a perfectionist and he's not having that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think the one against Bilbao bothered him because he was trying to piss about. I think he was like a fucking Panenka over the bar. Right. I think this one the other day he tried to. He messed about. He changed his run up. He done all like. Yeah. I think come Friday.
It'd be less mad if like the keeper had at least like saved it. Yeah. It's like, what are you doing?
Oh yeah,
like,
so both of them are awful.
Yeah.
I'd like to think.
I'm on your one more chance thing.
Yeah.
I'd like to think Arne's had them practice. He should be practice pens every day because we're fucking crap at them. At some point we're gonna have to win one of those. So yeah, I would definitely be doing that.
Sick of bad pens over this summer. From what I've watched, it's just been painful. Everyone go and practice penalties.
I've got to say the whole world. I've got to say, not just the Liverpool thing. Nobody can score penalties at this moment in time. Those ones last night, Jesus.
Oh no, yeah. God.
Where did Vitinha do that against us?
Well, did he do something on Alisson? Cocked up to save it. Yeah, he forgot to save it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hell one, jeez. Yeah, there's some bad penalties about all of the women's Euros, every game. Yeah, there's been some there's been some bad penalties this summer in all competitions. Speaking of all competitions, we will of course be getting our score prediction stuff at the end of the show, and we will try and do a combined 11 what we think is going to play as well. But before we do that, let's have a little look around the Premier League. Get the opening set of fixtures. Obviously, the games kick off Friday night. Liverpool versus Bournemouth. Villa Newcastle dead early on. Sam. 12:30 at Villa Park on Saturday. Fast forward 38 games. That feels like a game that could have serious European consequences. That's a tough for both of them, really. That is not one you want. For Villa, you're happy that you're at home 12:30. That's a bit of an advantage to you, obviously, for a number of different reasons. But I wouldn't be shocked if those two sides are within 3 points of each other, 6 points for the remainder of the season. That's a very big game for both of them very early on.
It is. Both of them have gone backwards as well, because right now I know they own them, but Newcastle don't have Isak, and that's huge for them. And Villa have lost Rashford and Asensio, and there's other players potentially on the move. I don't even know who they've signed. Watkins, there's talk of all him leaving, maybe last minute bids and stuff. So it feels like that whoever loses that game, just like another game we're going to talk about in a minute, whoever loses that game is going to be under serious pressure. I mean, imagine Villa tonked them like 3-0, the pressure on Newcastle would be crazy.
Newcastle feel more than a mess to me. They just feel so unsteady. Like, I've seen tweets of people saying Eddie Howe's going to walk and all this mad stuff.
What Newcastle have been able to do, though, is they have been able to get some players in. Villa have really struggled.
Yeah. Just about.
I mean, listen, they've not been first choices. They have
no
very
one
much been
Alanga will start for them.
But Alanga will play. They're probably going to get Jacob Ramsey, ideally. They're probably waiting for tomorrow to get out the way before.
They probably signed Alanga, telling them, "Oh, come and play with Alexander Isak," and now he's sat there like.
Well, they're interesting on them. They haven't got a centre forward to play at the moment.
Yeah.
Osulu.
Pay the money for Wissam. Stop being so disrespectful to him.
That could happen.
Unsettling them and all that.
Villa are struggling themselves.
If they wouldn't have made a mess of the whole Isak.
No, I think we were getting him all day anyway.
Do you really?
Well, they said didn't we were talking to him since January. I think it was just they tried to prod us into buying him.
Games.
And then we were going to get both anyway.
Villa have got, is it Gassand, the striker, I think, from Nice. Right. That's a bad. They haven't
so he's the backup, is he? Yeah.
He's probably going to play, isn't he? If Ollie Watkins is
kicking up a fuss.
Depends where that Ollie Watkins.
I think he's played, hasn't he? Recently?
Yeah, he's been in and out, so we'll see how they go. But yeah, that's two teams who've had relatively difficult summers. That's a big game for them.
I fancy Villa there, though, like Abby says, because of the chaos going on in Newcastle.
I would say Villa, because I think 12:30 at home against Newcastle on a Saturday. I think that is an advantage. You've got Brighton, Fulham, two teams, again, they'll both be expecting to be in and around the European places. Sunderland versus West Ham. That is one where, if you're Sunderland, you are licking your lips at that one, because you need to find probably 10 wins from somewhere at some point. They all count. West Ham, again, who've had a difficult summer, losing players and not really been able to get their own targets, and no one wants to go there. I know for a fact, actually, that Harvey Elliott basically told them to do one.
Yeah.
Mad. Sunderland have spent a lot of money, and there's a lot of expectation. I know they got rid of Bellingham, the other Bellingham, but they have signed a lot. That feels like a massive opportunity for a newly promoted side at home against a potential relegation battle. Sunderland should be licking their lips at that one. You'd hope that place should be rocking for them.
Is that just a 3:00 game then?
Yeah, Sunday, Saturday 3. Yeah.
Be good to watch.
Yeah, Sunderland are that side that you just want to break this curse of everyone just coming up and going down again. Someone's got to put a fight in, and I hope it's Sunderland, because I'm excited just to see them play Newcastle in games like that. I want them in the Premier League just for that sort of anger. They're a big club. They should be in the Premier League. Yeah, but someone's got to put in more of a fight, because I'm getting absolutely fed up of everyone going down. And, you know, sides like West Ham are the ones that you could... West Ham, Brentford, sides like that. I think Wolves, they could end up in the drop, and things look uncomfortable and unsteady. And if I was Sunderland, I'd be thinking, West Ham is somewhere that we can get points, 100%. I am excited to see what Sunderland can do. Obviously, they've lost Joe Bellingham and all that stuff, but they're building well, aren't they? And the whole Xhaka thing, all that's going on. I'm excited to see how it goes. No, me, it'll end up falling flat on its face now. But
I'm with you, though. For the good of the league, we could do with someone staying up.
Well, it's down to transfer windows, isn't it? Last year, unfortunately, everyone but the bottom three just looked miles ahead. This year, there's a little bit more jeopardy because of Wolves and because of Brentford, in my opinion.
And West Ham. Definitely put West Ham.
Although Paqueta's now got a new lease of life.
I don't be there for too much longer. Spurs, Burnley. Spurs looking to, after they lost on penalties yesterday. But
they weren't that bad for a lot of that game.
No, they were the better team.
They were. But PSG towards the end, though, it was nervy for them. They'll probably be tired, but I can't see Burnley. There's just something about
just
Burnley.
Don't concede goals, Burnley, do they? So it'll be tough for Spurs to
0-0 maybe a little.
I just think that's the type of game Thomas Frank wins.
Yeah.
He's very pragmatic. He's got Danzo on the long throws already. Like he is just the ultimate. Like, I think he's a wonderful coach.
Them going in for Eze, I can't imagine Eze making that move. There's just something that just makes me think he's better than that. Am I horrible for thinking he's better than
Spurs? Of course, but it's Champions League. I knew the Arsenal thing seems to have died out, but I think it's a good move for them. I always pencil about 7 different teams each summer, Sam, who I think might be able to beat Manchester City. And for some reason, I always have Wolves, because they've had a little bit of history of taking points off them. Now, last year, I don't think it went that well. I think they won and drew, actually, so maybe they did. But I don't think Wolves away is a battle off Manchester City. But it feels like it's a different Wolves now. That Wolves of old, with it used to be, I used to think Adama Traore just legging through people and stuff like that. But Wolves do have a decent record against City, but against City looking pretty good, Nick, at the moment.
They got absolutely robbed last year. It was a weird VAR situation at the end, but losing, I'm not fussed about them losing out Nori. He's a good player, but he's defensively all over the place, and he obviously is going to play against them. But Cunha, even if he missed 20 sitters, like he was a bit like Darwin Núñez, Cunha, he's missed loads of chances, but then scored some really good goals. But his creativity and his quality in between the lines was massive for Wolves. And I don't even know who they've replaced them with. I couldn't tell you.
On the wing or up front. So they've signed Strand Larsen as their permanent. Fer Lopez on the right. Arias is all, and then that's about it in attack. And they signed a new left back. Wolf. His name is actually to Wolf.
Wolf, really?
Yeah, he was from Alkmaar. He's coming.
Probably going to be boss now, isn't he?
But listen, they have replaced their players. But you're right, they have lost Cunha, Ait Nori, Gonzalo Guedes. I mean, he wasn't playing too much anyway. Nelson Semedo's gone. No, Sarabia's gone. They've been through. Well, they've gone through a bit of change there of Wolves, so it'll be interesting. But I just always think there's a chance, but yeah, probably
they've lost that that one person that you think, like you were saying about Traore or Cunha. They've lost that one player where you go, if anyone's going to be able to do it, that feels like that magic's gone now.
I just still think City centre backs aren't great. No, really. And I think Strand Larsen's maybe he's a bit crap, but I think maybe him, because I think that's City's problem. They've solved loads of other issues. City, I think they've boxed a few different areas off. Reinders looks amazing. Cherky's looked good. They've addressed a lot of their problems. They're going to
want to start off strong.
They're going to Haaland and form, but yeah, I still think you can get at them. We'll find out how that goes. Chelsea Palace will be a good game, Sam.
Yes. Oof. That's a big one.
It's all about teams in Nick. They're both in good Nick, because they both played competitive footballish very, very recently. Now, Palace, of course, again, interesting. We'll see by then. Where's Gahey? Where's Eze? There's a lot going on for Palace. But that feels like a good game. I think I'd watch that one. That's 2:00 on Sunday.
Yeah, 100%. Again, if the same team that played against us ends up playing, which it may well do, because I can't see things happening that quick, and I don't think both of those players care too much about sitting the games out. I think they'll just want to play football. I think it's Chelsea have replaced players, but I'm not sure how Pedro's that much better than Jackson. He's probably a better technical footballer, but Jackson was much more explosive. Delap's good squad depth, but again, he's probably not better than Nkunku, just different. They're just more the same for Chelsea. It's just rinse and repeat. They've lost Colwill. That's a big loss for them. Hato, is he going to be any good? He played for Ajax in the Dutch league. Don't know. They still got a crap goalie. Centre-halves aren't amazing. Reece James plays 10 games a season. They've got all this firepower. Palmer's boss. Neto's a good player. But for me, they're just the same Chelsea with different names on it.
Palace will give them a game.
I think that'll be a tough game for Chelsea.
I think it's a tough one, you're right. You got Forest, Brentford, you got Man United, Arsenal's a big one. Someone's massive. Coming out of that game
under pressure.
I mean, a last man standing, for example, and I know a couple of Man United lads who are backing them. Like first game of the season, everyone's picked Spurs, Liverpool, a few have picked City, and there's a couple of Man United fans feeling the onions a little bit, and they're going for themselves. Like that. I mean, to be fair, United's record against Arsenal's pretty decent anyway. Even when the United were shite, they have made good signings. It's mad to sit and say I want Man United to win a game of football. I don't think I'd ever quite be able to see that, but I wouldn't be disappointed if they won that one. It'll be interesting to see if the Amarim effect with a full summer, with transfers that he clearly wanted. He's got rid of the players he didn't want. Rashford, see you later, Garnacho.
They're all still training in the corner, aren't
just so that they're in the naughty corner, or one's son in Barcelona. I'm fascinated. I mean, whatever the result, I'm just fascinated to watch Man United and just see has he got anything out of them whatsoever, because they're a shambles, or they were last year.
One thing Man United fans will always have is the audacity. Like I've got like one Man United mate, and I've already had a text from him being like, we're going for the league this season, like Cunha and Bournemouth, and I'm literally like, how can you look at the absolute state of the club, that pre-season thing that they did where players were putting fingers up at people and everything is absolutely rotten to the core at that club. Talent goes there and dissipates. How you can look at that and be like, oh yeah, it'll work this time. It never works. And I know this could end up getting clipped up and they could end up doing really well, but I think Arsenal will absolutely batter them. There's just something about them. There's just egos everywhere at that club, and they don't get rid of it. they just go and sign more. You don't get Cunha. He's had attitude problems.
Massive.
It's like, how does that, do you know what I mean?
Isn't Mbemo the same as well? Isn't he a bit of a tit as well?
I don't think he's that. I don't think maybe. I mean, probably if Man United have signed him, but I'm not going to make an assumption.
The Sesko-Gyökeres thing's interesting because someone's going to score a goal. Quad body in the chat says you think it's going to be 0-0 and neither of them score. But there's a chance one of them scores and that's the story. If either of those teams win a tight game 1-0 and it's Sesko scores or it's Gyökeres scores, both of them, you'll have Arsenal fans doing the fucking... You'll have Man United fans jumping with joy over Sesko. That's how I see this one going. One of those centre forwards who could have that could easily have flipped, by the way.
Yeah.
There was every chance of Gyökeres going to United and Sesko going to Arsenal, which, by the way, might stylistically might have made more sense. But I've got that sense that one of them is going to do something. I genuinely think United can do something against Arsenal because they always have.
Yeah. My issue is there's always been some sort of like pressure or something going on. I just think Arsenal brought in 3 or 4 decent players.
Very good
They've
players.
got options now. Zubimendi's a good player. Gyökeres will do things that other strikers... I don't think he's that good, but I think he'll do things that strikers are supposed to do, which will actually help.
Kick it in the goal.
They filled the hole that they needed.
You've got Havertz back fit now. You know, they're a good side. Man United, we've got Cunha and Mbemo. We've got Fernandes. We've got Sesko, mate. We're brilliant. What about when you haven't got the ball, lad? Because none of them are any good defensively. And the rest of your team's the same. We were just horrendous.
They have a
goalie can't catch.
Goalie.
Yeah. It's just like, you know, or a midfielder. You know, we've got Mainu, Casemiro and Ugarte stuck in the mud. You know what I mean?
Crabs.
The fullbacks are all right, but you can't just buy, you know, top end stuff.
Believe it would be a good sign if you could get him.
I just can't see it happen. They're not going to spend £100 million on it.
No,
it's all talk.
They could have done that a while ago. But yeah, I'm interested. And then I think Leeds Everton on a Monday night, Abby, is a proper Premier League game. That is some game. That place, I can tell you now, will be absolutely rocking. I mean, it could change very quickly. There's a Dominic Calvert-Lewin play here. There's a chance that he's apparently having his medical soon. He could play in that game as well. That just feels like a proper Monday night footy Premier League game. That's the type of game that the neutral everyone will tune into. I think that's going to be a fantastic occasion. Leeds could be a dog of a game, by the way. It could be fucking crap, but as an occasion, it feels like it's got something about it.
Yeah, it's going to be aggressive. You know, it's going to be filled with American Everton anger, not American Everton anger. It's just going to be exciting. If Calvert-Lewin could turn into a boss player for them and never get injured, it would be absolutely hilarious to just see the fume from all the Everton fans, and he probably will, knowing their luck. So that's going to be a really, really good one, a proper aggressive one. It could be a 0-0, but it'll just be a proper aggressive angry one, red cards and everything. It's exciting. I like Leeds being in the Premier League. I do. The Premier League, even though part of me is just because it pisses Man United fans off, but there is a thing of just wanting proper Premier League sides in the league. So it's going to be an exciting. Plus, I think it'd be hilarious if someone who's just come up can beat Everton because they're all on cloud 9. Jack Grealish, all that song, they're all singing that Paul Breach song, and I think it'd just be absolutely hilarious for someone to just sort of humble them straight away.
It's very much in play.
If Leeds win, who've Everton got next week at all?
Everton's fixture. Oh gosh.
Because imagine you could just see it. Leeds beat them and then they go 1-0 down the hill dick and it starts booing 10 minutes.
Brighton at home.
Oh, that's going to happen. Leeds win. Brighton 1-0 up. Boo! New stadium, same tricks.
What are the boo acoustics like? The boo acoustics.
Reverberate all the sound. You know the way they've done it.
Carries across the Mersey. There's the boos into the world. I'm looking forward to that one. Actually, I think that'll be a fantastic occasion. Monday Night Footy often underwhelms because these pick sometimes average games. I think that's a really good game. And right then, to finish the show then, guys, very quickly. Alisson, Kerkez, Van Dijk, Konate, Kerkez.
Frimpong, you said Kerkez.
Oh, sorry, Frimpong.
Frimpong, yeah.
McAllister, Wirtz, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai.
Gravenberch
is out.
Oh, sorry, Szoboszlai, I do apologise. Yeah. And then Ekitike, Gakpo, Salah feels about right.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're going to win, Abs?
Oh, yeah. We'll win.
I think we scored 3 this week.
3-1, I'll go for. I can just see us conceding something.
I think I want to say 3, and I want to back the clean sheet. You're used to it probably right. But I think Virgil took that personally. He went too well last week as well, so I think he'll took that personally. And Salah will be made up. He's not playing against Kirkes.
Yeah, he will. Absolutely.
Because he's so sharp.
Fill your boots on that one, Mo. Right then, thanks very much. Let us know your score predictions in the comments section, everyone. If you're listening to this as a podcast, you can tweet us as well, get involved. And yeah, let us know if you think Liverpool are going to go top of the league on Friday and maybe stay there for the distance. That's very much in play. We'll see how it all pans out. There will be a watch along for the game. We'll be live at 6:40 p.m. UK time. Me, Dan and Errol in the studio, building up to the game, reacting to the team news, and then a watch along of the entire game as well if you want to come and join us on the YouTube channel. If you're not lucky enough to have a ticket to go to the match. For now, thanks to Sam, thanks to Abby, sorry Joe for the start of the show. Thanks all you guys for watching or listening. Catch us all next time.